Hello everyone, it's Tyler Stroik from Universal Rackets, and today we are going over where to place your dink. If you watch this whole video, then you will learn the different tips and different tricks and different places for you to place the dink. There are multiple places that you can place the dink, but the number one place that you do not want to place your dink is where you don't want to hit the ball up in the air. Why do you not want to hit the ball too high with your dinks? Because your opponent can swing down. In order to execute the proper dink, the goal of the proper dink is to what? The goal is to have your opponent hit the ball up. I want you to think, if my opponent dinks me a high ball and I'm hitting from here, my paddle is above the net, I can swing down and be offensive. If my opponent hits a good dink and the ball goes here and it stays low, what do I have to do? In order to get the ball over net, I have to hit up. When you hit up, you're defensive or neutral. When you hit down, you are offensive. So the goal of the dink is to neutralize your opponent. Now, a great tip for the dink when you're starting out is you want to aim your dink between the kitchen line and the net. Once again, you want your dink in the middle between the kitchen line and the net. This is a great place to go for your dink, even if you are getting up into the levels of pickleball. If you're an intermediate advanced player, the reason why is because the further you get in pickleball, what players are going to start doing is instead of letting the ball bounce here, they're going to be leaning over and taking the ball out of the air. So unless you're playing someone that's 7 foot tall, if you hit a ball that's halfway between the net and the kitchen, they're going to have to let the ball bounce. They're not going to be able to reach over and hit that ball out of the air without going into the kitchen, of course. If you hit the ball a little bit deeper, that's going to be easier to hit the ball out of the air. Now, if you can hit the ball a little bit more faster, if you can get some pace on it, if you could get that ball low, diving down quick, then yeah, maybe go a little bit deep. There's a time for it, but in general, and this is why I start out with it, if you're playing pickleball, regardless of level, you want to aim between the net and the kitchen line. Now, where do you place your dinks? Very simple. A lot of players, they always place their dinks out wide, and that is a great tactic to do. The reason why you want to place your dinks out wide is because angle creates angle. The more out wide that I hit to my opponent, probably the more out wide that they're going to hit to me. And then what does that mean? If you're going out wide to me, say if I'm over here, my partner is going to be able to come over here and intercept it and take it out of air and smash the ball. So by dinking out wide, that opens the court. So going out wide on your dinks is a perfect place to be. Now, you do not want to go too out wide. People, they see so many ATPs, and okay, they have good shots. ATPs are really good shots, but you don't want to give your opponent the opportunity for an ATP. If you go too far out wide and too short, it'll give your opponent space that he can go around the net post. And ATP stands for around the net post. Now, another place that you can hit a dink is straight to the person, okay? Angle creates angle, but if you go directly towards your opponent for your dink, they're going to, if they don't take the ball out of air, if it's closer here, or if they don't, or if they let it bounce, they're going to probably have to hit it right back to you. If you can jam and hit that ball right to your opponent, they're probably not going to be able to hit super good angle dinks. So if I ever play a good opponent that's super consistent at hitting those out wide angle dinks that throw me off, I'm going to maybe go at the person straight ahead from me. But again, I'm going to try to get deep and fast behind the kitchen line so they don't take it out there, or I'm going to aim between the kitchen line and the net. Now, the last place, and this is so much looked upon. Too many players do not think about this, okay? You can aim to the middle. Down the riddle, solve the middle, heat the griddle, magic fiddle, play the fiddle, whatever you want to talk about, but down the middle solves the riddle. By hitting in the middle, number one, it's going to open up opportunities because again, if you go directly at someone or to the middle, it's going to be super difficult to hit angles. And number two, the middle is a cause for a lot of communication. And number three, if you're ever getting pulled out wide a ton, if you go to the middle, it's going to, number one, switch up the pattern. Number two, it's going to eliminate your opponent from hitting an ATP. A great tactic that I like to use personally is whenever I get super pulled out, my bailout shot is, instead of trying to go all the way out wide, it's going to be a super difficult, low percentage shot, I'm just going to go right here, and I'm going to just hit the ball into the middle. It's like a bailout shot from getting caught up in that super angled dink that maybe I'm uncomfortable. Maybe this person, I know how solid his or her dinks are. So again, make sure you can either go out wide, you can go in the middle, which is a great extra tactic, and also again, make sure you don't pop the ball up high, you go between the net and the kitchen line, and you're going to be so much better off while you play pickleball. I will tell you, for me personally, my game went to a whole nother level. Don't check my duper, because why? I started looking at the middle as a third option. I started utilizing it. Before, I was so set on having to hit the ball out wide that I would try to be so perfect, I'd either miss, my opponent would hit an ATP on me, or I would end up popping the ball up in the air because I thought that was the only thing that I could do. Then I started utilizing the middle, utilizing it as an additional option, and it completely changed my game. So if you haven't used a middle, go out, try to do it. A great way to work on your dinks and work on locations is wherever you point the tip of your paddle, the ball is going to go. If I want to go over here, point the tip of the paddle over here. I want to pretend that there's a laser from my paddle. Wherever I point it, the ball is going to go. And another thing, place targets out, guys. Get a poly spot, get something to hit, and just start aiming and pointing your paddle at the targets. You're going to do that so many times with your partner that then when you go out and play and you're in these dinking battles, you're going to actually see these targets. They're not actually on the court, but you're going to think that they're on court because you're so used to drilling them. Now, if you want more pickleball tips, more pickleball tricks, make sure to click the link in my description to subscribe to me on YouTube. Make sure to click our Universal Rackets meetup link. You can join our meetup. We're hosting free clinics, we're hosting free online trainings, and so much more. And if you want any pickleball clinics, special events, corporate events, anything in your area, make sure to click this link and fill out this form so you can get Universal Rackets pickleball programs in your community. Have a good one, happy hitting, and I'll see you guys next time on court.